And everybody and their mom has heard the story about how we met. So
yeah, welcome to Under Kaela and David and Alice.
this is gonna be a very romantic, very sensual episode of UCA.
Sexiness.
As we delve into the fact that we just came back from a very long, very nice vacation, and we literally just got back home and realized, oh wait, we have to record UCA, and we're both tired. So you're getting the best of us today. Nothing but tired, energy brought out here. But yes, it's your old friends, David and Kaela.
Hello.
And appropriately enough, we just had this wonderful getaway up in the mountains, stayed at a nice place, ate weed-shaped waffles.
That was awesome.
Went for a long hike. Danced to a jukebox while drinking.
Yep.
That was fun.
We drank so much.
We drank a lot.
Chilled out in a hot tub. So we've been together for 8 years.
Yeah, wow. Well, I mean, it's not surprising to anybody listening to this. We started UCA together. So it's only appropriate that. Yeah, the very first episode, which was unless you count the pilot I did like ages ago where we did Jeff the Killer. The first episode of UCA was just you and I. Who's Yusin? That's that haunted painting on the wall that was between us when we read the first episode.
Oh.
You couldn't see it, but Yusin was leaning out and like making comments, but you can't hear him because he speaks in painting, which is all silent.
He speaks in what the fuck?
Have you ever tried? It's art. It's art language. It's high art.
I feel like what was that movie that came out? Like I can't remember if it was released on Netflix, and it's basically the paintings come and kill people or some shit. And,
oh yeah,
like razor blade, and it had something to do with a saw blade or some shit.
Razor blade, saw blade, something.
Yeah,
I remember it looked interesting, and then I heard, and actually it was kind of dumb. You want to watch a good movie that has to do with art and horror? The new Candyman actually has a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
New Candyman is actually really good.
If you guys are gonna go watch something, watch the new Candyman. Although I've heard Everything and Everywhere All at Once is really good.
I know, I want to see it.
Yeah. Alan just watched it.
Alan, yeah, I trust Alan's opinion on that. So,
yeah.
With that, I think that we'll have to venture into a theater. We haven't done that in years at this point. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if there's a movie that's probably worth going to see,
yeah, we can have another date night.
Hey, that sounds good. I'm down for that.
Okay, so
you're hearing us plan this live, or not live, but you know what I mean. But the point I was going to make was, Laughing Jack was our first episode.
Yes.
That was the first real UCA episode. So it's been every so often we do this where it's just the two of us, but, it's been a little while. And of course we just got back from this lovely, reaffirming weekend, having to deal with our anniversary and celebrating that and how long we've been together and how much we love each other. So we're going to read a story called The Divorce.
As soon as you showed me the story, I'm like, oh my god, yes, David, we have to read this together. This is perfect.
So the author is credited as Rorshack Rorshan. I don't know. They didn't leave much about themselves, except that they gave us 2 stories and just said, in all lowercase, you can analyze these. So I'm going to take that as a given. There's 2 with intriguing titles, but I just thought The Divorce seemed like, actually I showed it to Kaela.
On our anniversary, after 8 years of being together and coming back from a romantic weekend getaway, let's talk about divorce. The divorce. The divorce.
So I think we'll just dive right into this, honestly.
Well, these are actually big paragraphs, so I would say...
I think we'll be fine with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. All right. Marriage is a partnership. Marriage is hard work, and nobody knows if a marriage will work out, and no matter what you do, whether you follow all of the rules, it still doesn't mean your marriage will stay. It's luck in the end that will decide whether a couple will stay together, but at the same time, doing other stuff like doing stuff together and talking with one and another will also increase the luck.
I disagree. I disagree. I don't think it's just luck that defines a marriage. I think...
I mean, the paragraph reads a little weird so far, the grammar, but
Although it's starting to look like a first-person point. Yeah, actually, keep reading.
Yeah, it's probably a perspective thing, so yeah. Nothing is exactly wrong, but we aren't having conversation.
Oh, no, it had a couple.
Oh, sorry. Had a couple of friends who had divorced on amicable terms, and my wife and I are also struggling. Nothing is exactly wrong, but we aren't having conversations and we feel more like roommates than a married couple. When we go out, it just feels awkward sitting next to other couples who are talking and laughing, especially next to first-time dates who are in love with each other. I just want to pay the bill and go home, really, and nighttime is where I can truly be free with my own thoughts. We have 2 kids, and we sometimes use them as a distraction from our marriage, and I am dreading the day when they leave home, because then that would mean I would have to now concentrate on the marriage. This reads a little bit like a short story one story.
I want to say it's a little bit run-on.
Little bit run-on.
Yeah.
Little bit run-on.
I think,
So far.
There's a voice here. There's a voice here. I just think the sentences can be a little more compact. A little more compact, and there's some extraneous stuff that can be removed.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of interesting that this is a perspective. You could tell it is a perspective thing because it's like, yeah, it's just based on luck, and God, this marriage is starting to get boring now. I can hear it, but
yeah, but I'm starting to wonder, like, hey, short story one, is that you? Are you in disguise? Is that you behind that Rorschach mask? Like, oh.
I just imagine Rorschach from.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness!
My wife will look up and shout, "Divorce me!" And I'll look down and whisper, "No."
Oh my gosh! Why am I blanking on the name of the comic?
Watchmen.
Watchmen. Fuck yes, that's it.
You got it.
The new house was just like.
Wait,
sorry, my bad. My wife and I didn't.
My wife.
I remember. All right, when Abby, Paprika, you and I were together, and we were talking about we're gonna get married. All of us are getting married soon. Yeah, because Abby and Paprika were about to get married, and we were about to get married. And
our weddings were what?
2 weks apart.
2 weeks apart. Yeah.
And Abby and I were saying, yeah, we're just getting married for shits and giggles, so we can say my wife.
My wife.
My wife and I then. God damn it.
Sorry.
My wife and I then decided to just do something crazy, like selling the house and buying a new one. And I was on board because something needed to happen. Wow.
Damn.
We're selling the house because I'm bored.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. The kids weren't all for the move. No shit. And I did feel bad as I felt we were being selfish, but our marriage needs something to happen to keep it together. So selling the house?
Apparently they just really needed to maybe they've been living I don't know, in a bungalow in the 1950s for a while. It's all old.
We've been living in this 1-bedroom shack, and
we've been living in this house and driving this car. If we had a lot of money, we could buy a bigger house and get nice clothes. Not these old rags that we're wearing now. My recommendation, normally it's Alan's recommendation corner. My recommendation corner, look up At Home with English, especially the Oblivion covers of that. Greg Thompson's At Home with English. It's kind of amazing. Just that's all I'll say. Look it
especially if you've played Skyrim or any of the Elder Scrolls games, you'll get a kick.
You get a kick out of it.
Where
right here.
Oh, I mean, for sure they would have to make new friends in a new area, but at least their parents will still be together.
Oh, fuck. Uprooting your entire life is a small price to pay for your parents not joining the huge ranks of divorcees in this country.
I get jealous at other couples who can still have conversations and do things together. Sometimes I wish that silence was what made my marriage glue together, but I know, and my wife knows that there is something wrong with our marriage. Going to a marriage counselor would only be the start of admitting that something is wrong, and neither of us wanted to do that. There's some repetition. Again,
short story one.
You think it's short story?
I don't know if it is, but because short story ones are even more unusual and weird and crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got that quality to it, which is I don't know how to put my finger on it. Except for the run-on, the ambiguity of the characters, but trying to be about a specific situation, just kind of reminding us, oh yeah, there's a problem with our marriage, conversations don't work.
Yes, we know, we got it. Yeah. It's to the point that you're selling your house and uprooting your family to move elsewhere, not just down the street, a new area to save your marriage. I would say, like, oh, this is ridiculous, but I've known couples who have done, like, dumber shit than this.
Yeah, oh my God.
Just to stay together.
It does happen.
Yeah.
The new house was just like any other house, fit for a family, and it was exciting moving everything and going around the new area.
Bullshit. Moving is a pain in the ass.
Moving is awful. It was nice, but, maybe it was exciting to get somewhere new. It was nice meeting new people, but the gnawing feeling at the back of my head kept on telling me that we can't just move house every time we feel our marriage needs a kickstart. How many houses have they moved through at this point? Have they just burned through houses?
I think this was the start of one, but...
Did they buy one of Jerrison's fireproof houses?
Yes!
I hope they did. I lost my place because I was too distracted. This house? What?
This house was the new start.
Oh, no. This house... No, I lost it. This house... Oh, yeah. This house was the new start to kickstart our marriage, and if this wasn't enough, then it would lead to marriage counseling. I have to admit, I did want something to happen, like something out of this world to distract me and my wife from our marriage. Marriage right now is feeling way too long, and even eternity isn't longer than our marriage. Okay, we get it. We unpacked everything, and our 2 kids picked their rooms, and when everything was done and started, we were back at the start again with the awkward silences and ignoring the elephants in the room. Don't ignore the elephants. They need attention. They're going to get malnourished if you don't feed them.
You have to give them water and take care of them and clean them. You chose these elephants! You chose to purchase these elephants!
What if you were just followed awkwardly by elephants everywhere, though? Like, you didn't choose the elephants chose you.
That's a horror story in its own right.
Yeah.
Then the day after we had moved everything into the house, my wife woke me up and made me go downstairs. Then I realized I was already downstairs. Wait, what?
Hold on. Go ahead and read it.
Then I already realized I was already downstairs, but rather the bed I was sleeping on was downstairs.
Oh, the bed was down. Like,
But why would he make you go downstairs if your bed was already down? What?
So he woke up and realized he was already downstairs. The bed he was sleeping on had been moved downstairs, and the wife woke. Oh, that's okay. That's a weird way of saying, like, I woke up and for some reason my bed was downstairs. My wife woke me up and said, like, okay, just
again,
keep going.
Okay,
just keep going.
Half of our stuff was tightly packed into the living room and the kitchen, and the other half of our stuff was put into the front room and spare room. It was creepy, but it was the right distraction I needed from my marriage, as I wasn't looking forward to spending time with my wife, and I'm sure she was feeling the same. Wow, this marriage is not... You guys should not be married together.
No, definitely.
We have something to talk about, and our kids were in the front room, even though they had their own rooms to sleep in. Okay.
So everything got moved downstairs while they weren't paying attention?
Okay. My wife and I, as well as the kids, helped put everything back, and it was hard work. Luckily, some of our stuff were still in boxes. When we managed to empty our boxes, our house was filled up, and what we needed. It was really strange how half our stuff was in one side of the house, and the other half was in the other side. This is a weird paragraph.
The story's... I'm going to go ahead and say my first real criticism is the story's writing the grammar is just kind of clunky and run-on.
This is definitely a first draft.
It's a first draft.
This, basically, compact down. Take out some of the extraneous details.
Yeah, we don't need a constant reminder about, hey, and now we have something it's like, it's repeating. We're not even... at the end of the first page.
If you want to make it even more clear about the...
We're confused. This is the important thing that's happened. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I mean, if you want to make it... Here's the problem I'm finding right here is that when the interesting, inciting incident happens, we're barely understanding what's going on.
Yeah, I'm confused about, like, their stuff being moved. I don't know what's happening here.
It was all moved without them noticing, and they were asleep, but they woke up and everything had been moved into different halves of the house.
I mean, wouldn't that point you would just question someone like, hey, was that you, hon? Or did the movers move it? Like, that could have been addressed. I don't know. That's why it's kind of... But they're acting like, this is weird. No, it's more than just weird if your stuff has just been moved, but maybe I'm reading it wrong. Again, I think there's some extraneous information that needs to be taken out and then compacted and to be made more clear. Mm-hmm. Another thing too is I would suggest, as weird as it sounds, if you're going to talk about like, oh, my wife and I, our marriage isn't working, personalize it a little bit more.
Be specific.
Give specifics of what's not working. Like, for example, you could say, we used to, once upon a time, we used to go rock climbing, and it was so adventurous, and I could see her laughing and stuff like that. Now, the thought of just even going out to get groceries just makes me tingle. Like, give some...
I put on a song she likes and she doesn't even react, or,
Yeah, be a bit more specific so that way we can...
The characters are not characters right now.
Yeah.
They're just short story one ramblings right now.
Mm-hmm.
I remember coming back home from shopping with my wife, and that was a drudgingly, awkwardly silent experience. Buying stuff from the supermarket and just going through the lists of what we need, and this is what I meant as my wife and I were just going through the motions of being a wife and husband.
Oh, well, there we go. Okay, yeah.
Sure.
Hey, I was just saying something about this. Thank you.
We got our stuff.
Bring this earlier.
Yeah, more little details like this.
Yes.
We got our stuff, and the drive home was irritatingly rough as the traffic was long, and I was considering getting a homeless guy into our car to drown out the silence. Hey, honey, I'm gonna pick up a hitchhiker. I hope you don't mind. Okay, here he is. Hi, how you doing? Oh, that's a nice knife you got there. When we got home, we both observed that everything in our living room was split half and half. Everything our front room was split half and half, and this was the same for all the other rooms.
Wait, split half?
Like was everything actually cut in half? Or are we talking about, like, things were moved to half of the room? Like, let me see if it makes any clearer. I thank the heavens for the distraction. I am always looking for a distraction from my marriage, and at this point I am praying for Armageddon as the right kind of distraction from my marriage. My wife was now angry and irritated, and both our kids were in school, and I calmly said that I will put everything back together again, but my wife shouted back, "We can't just keep doing this," and as she shouted at me, all I could think was, why didn't anyone tell me?
What do you mean? What? Okay.
Well, wait. And then I think the next paragraph is, like, what I mean by this.
Well, okay. Oh,
let's try that.
What I mean by this is, why didn't anyone tell me that that marriage was this hard? Or why didn't anyone tell me that reality's marriage? Of marriage, it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a lot of people tell me marriage is hard, but then again, maybe some people spend their lives thinking that everything is going to be happily ever after a marriage. That's true. Okay. It's always lovely when you're dating and when a relationship new and nobody tells you anything about some of the bumps you may go through, but only when you get married and when you start to go through some bumps do people start to tell you. All I could do was get started on rearranging things around the house, and she was right, though. We can't just keep doing this all over again. It's always half the stuff in one corner and the other half in the other. Okay. So
something is dividing the house and everything in the house in the different rooms in half.
Yeah.
It's almost like something, I'm getting the impression that something in the house is drawing an invisible line. This is your stuff. This is her stuff.
Yeah. I feel like this needs to be made more, there should be more of a reaction to this, you know?
Yeah, it feels a little stale right now.
Yeah. The kids came back from school and they had their meals and we all ate separately watching TV, and boy, do I hate all of the love stories within every show where that be horror or action, and I just find it queasy and irritating and a reminder of my marriage of how bad it is. We get it!
We get it!
I find the love stories within most shows so Wow, okay, we get it. Your marriage sucks. You don't need to repeat this.
Yeah, this is...
I'm wondering if this is intentional, like this is supposed to be kind of a comedy.
Is this... No, seriously, short story one, is this you? Is this you under a different pseudonym? I know you've sent us more stuff, like, since then. Like, since this. Like, you've even labeled them with the original address email address you sent them under. So, but, I fell asleep on the sofa in the front room, and then I heard a shout, and I awoke suddenly. As I was in the front room, I observed again that half the stuff was in one corner and the other half in the other corner, and same with every other room. My wife swore, and my two kids were just confused at what was going on, and she needed to get outside for some fresh air. I decided to just put everything back again, and I was grateful for this little distraction, and any distraction is great right now, as I didn't want to concentrate. We know!
No. This is starting to get repetitive.
Then as everything was back in its place, and our kids gone back to sleep, my wife and I silently in our bed, and we both just closed our eyes, hoping for a miracle to happen. Then around 3 a.m., our youngest woke me up, and I realized I was back in the front room with my youngest child. My wife was in the living room with our eldest child, and somehow we had all ended up downstairs while we were all upstairs sleeping.
The story okay. As a story idea, this isn't bad. Like,
A marriage counseling force?
well, like,
Or
okay.
a force saying, like, take your stuff in half and...
Okay, clearly, like, their marriage is going stale, and they decide, let's move. I've heard couples do crazier stuff, but I feel like there should be more of a reaction and all that. And then all of a sudden, things are starting to move around. But I think to make this more interesting is, one, maybe the wife's like, why would you do this? And he's like, I didn't do anything. And she's like, well, someone must have done it. It must have been you. You keep messing stuff. Like,
Me, you know, that kind of thing. There's no, this thing is so lacking in character. It just feels like I'm reading like a laundry list now.
Here's what I would suggest. The story needs to be cut down, and then also give your characters more personality.
It doesn't matter what it is. Just find details so we can have different things to focus on instead of just, I need to be distracted from my marriage. I need to be distracted from my marriage. I need to be distracted from my marriage. I need to be distracted from my marriage.
Because another thing too is, that could be said once, but if he continues to be saying about it, it starts to sound, it's becoming repetitive. Maybe, and also, if you want to have it last longer, be like, how did I end up down here? You can make any excuse. Maybe I'm sleepwalking again. Or, well, I did have too much to drink last night, so maybe I accidentally fell asleep down here and didn't remember.
Yeah.
Like, there could be, like, start with excuses and then get it weirder and weirder. That's usually how, if you want to make a horror story sound weird. And also, because that's what people do. They try to normalize it or give excuses for weird shit happening until it gets to a point where, there's no explanation for this.
Yeah. We haven't even had that. It's just kind of like,
it just happens.
No one's asking questions. Just go, I'll just put everything back, and then they just keep going, and that's why it feels like just a going through. I mean, I know it's supposed to be about going through the motions, but this is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. You know what? We'll keep these in mind. I think we've kind of already picked out what needs work in the story, but let's see it through so we can figure out where it goes from here. I think it is your paragraph now.
Yeah. Right
here.
Not only that, but majority of our stuff, half of it was in the front room, while the other half of it was in the living room. We tried to come together in one room, but an invisible force was stopping us, and I couldn't believe what we were experiencing. It was incredible, but terrifying at the same time, and my youngest started to cry. I had no idea what to do. It was amazing also that this distraction from our marriage was just what we needed, and I saw it as a couple exercise to get through and talk.
Wow. So they were too cheap to go to couples counseling, but when a ghost forces your family apart, you're willing to let the ghost help you for free. Like, the ghost is just like, or whatever is haunting them is like, you people.
Yeah.
Good gravy. Just, look, you can't be in the same space and you're not fixing anything until you talk about your problems, alright? Good God, fuck you.
What you do together, you stay together, and then when we could cross over, my wife and I both knew that we had to get someone like a psychic to check out our house. Or check our house. Oh. I mean, I don't think science knew that we had to get some... Oh, wait, I don't think science could help us with this sort of problem, as they were usually skeptic with these sort of things.
No shit. So this is when you call Zach Baggins to be your marriage counselor.
Yes! Getting a psychic would also be our first visitor to our new house, as me and my wife weren't up to getting our friends around, as we needed to work on ourselves.
Oh my God, you just needed to invite some friends over. Literally, you've got a marriage counseling ghost haunting you.
You know what? You know who I would recommend reading for, like, these types of stories? Raymond Carver.
Oh.
He writes really good stories that have, like, clearly it's about couples that are trying to seem happy, but their
like marriage is falling apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely remember reading a few of those.
But they're done subtly and done very well. Read some of those, and that will help. That would bring some great inspiration.
Oh, yeah. This feels like it wants to be a Raymond Carver story. You know?
Maybe it could be.
It could, with some work.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is not a bad idea.
No, this is... Things just got kind of interesting, even though I'm still kind of confused what's going on.
Yeah.
That is another thing that I had noticed with us both. We're trying to socialize with other people. We can't seem to socialize with other people anymore. I dread socializing now, and I guess it could be anxiety, and the sickening feeling of having to talk to a stranger was traumatizing than what we were experiencing in our house. What?
Huh?
Why?
I don't... Okay.
Okay. We find a psychic, well, a couple of psychics, really, and majority of them we came to find were frauds.
No shit.
My wife and I had a good laugh about it, really, and this was a miracle as me and my wife hadn't laughed together in ages. I guess that could be our entertainment getting fraudulent psychics and laughing at them afterwards. I had another good moment with my wife when a badminton ball flew through the air and my wife grabbed something, hit the badminton ball back.
What?
So, there was like a moment where like a badminton ball flew through the air and then she like hit it out of the air.
Yeah.
Then whatever made it fly through the air in the first place started hitting it back, and my wife was playing badminton with a ghost. It was something I was laughing. It was amazing, and I was laughing my head off, and I could feel a little healing in our marriage. See, this ghost is just marriage counseling them. Then when we got another psychic to come to our house, we were expecting the same nonsense like we had experienced from the other psychics. The psychic was different, and as soon as she came, she knew we were having marriage problems, and that the reason we only moved here was to fix our marriage. My wife and I were blown away, and we were humbled, really. What this psychic told us is that the two ghosts that had once lived here when they were alive were once married. Now as ghosts, they were divorcing.
What?
They are both trying to figure out what things are theirs, which explained the half and half situation we had going on. So wait.
Oh
they died.
God.
Are the ghosts people who died before they could divorce and now they're eternally trying to keep things separated?
Yes.
Okay. That's kind of funny.
Yes.
I like the idea that they're, in a revised version of the story, I think it would be really clever to get this idea that we're dealing with these two feuding poltergeists are gonna fix their marriage just by the experience. Like, I don't know.
You know what? No, this is not a bad idea. I think this just needs to be rewritten.
I want to know how they died too.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
The story idea is not bad at all. This is actually really entertaining. I just think it just needs to be rewritten.
Yeah.
And, bit more detail on the characters and stuff like that. It'd be kind of interesting if they found out another way about this, rather than just this psychic saying, there's two ghosts in here that are...
Yeah, I wonder. Your turn.
Okay, we talked about how fast the time...
Up here.
Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. The psychic just went on her merry way when she got paid, and my wife and I didn't know what to think. The psychic also told us that we had to move out as soon as possible, because as long as me and my wife were living here with our children, we were also part of the division process of what both divorcing ghosts would take with them when they eventually divorced.
Oh, they died as they were trying to divorce, maybe.
Oh, okay. So this is like their unfinished...
Yeah.
Again, great idea. I just... you know what? That actually is a good idea.
This turned into a horror comedy.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Because I mean, the idea of ghosts is like, oh, they're here because of unfinished business. What if these are, ghosts that are in the middle of getting a divorce, but they couldn't finalize it yet, and then that's their unfinished business?
That's pretty funny.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, we were both silent, and we both decided that we would just sludge through it, and every couple of days, everything would be split into every room, and we would find ourselves in a room we were never... What? Aside from the warning, the problematic situation we were both having with the house was actually doing good for our marriage. We know! We get it!
Yeah, we're still getting the rambliness.
We were both talking to each other and even acting ourselves with one another. I remember one time when me and my wife found ourselves in the front room again with half our stuff and our kids in the living room with the other half. We both had a deep conversation about what?
Yeah, about what?
This is what
About what? About what? I want to know. Details, please.
Your turn.
Yeah. We talked about how okay. This is the conversation. See?
Okay.
Awkward paragraph.
Yeah.
We talked about how fast the times had gone and how, when we were younger, we enjoyed going out in adventures and to restaurants. But now I guess we both prefer to be inside and not hanging around with much people. We could both hear our kids arguing in the living room, and there was an invisible force stopping us from going into the other rooms. These divorcing ghosts couldn't decide what was there, and in my mind, I was thinking what my divorce would be like if we ever got a divorce. Then when it was over, we moved everything back, and I guess our marriage needed those kind of problems right now to sort us both out, as we were both changing as people. Nobody ever thinks that they will change as individuals, but eventually, in some degree, changes come to us all, and the flow of time keeps going forward. Doesn't seem like didn't seem like it was that deep,
the difficult part about this is the character is way too self-realized. There's too much self-realization.
Yeah.
I already knew we had marriage problems. I already knew this. I realize now this was solving our marriage problem, and it's like, take that all away. Don't take out the self-realization. You don't have to say it for us. Let us figure it out.
Let us figure it out. It's fine. I will say that the story could be so much shorter and succinct, and it would still hit decently if you gave it enough of a spin. Again, you could even spin this as a little bit of a fun horror comedy or spooky comedy when you're like, hey, if these ghosts, you thought we had problems, look at these ghosts. Ow. Like a badminton ball hits him in the head. We got to use our objects and general stuff being divided half and half in each room, and I guess this was our new life for now. We knew the message of the psychic was in our minds, and we both knew we had to move as not be part of the division process. Then when I woke up one morning and I heard screams, we all saw our house was somehow split half and half literally, but was somehow still standing.
Wait, like, actually...
The house actually went and was segmented. We tried calling out to strangers for help who were walking by, but none of them could hear us and even see what was going on. Then when the house came together again, we joined together as a family and went out to eat somewhere and to think about what to do.
Okay.
We had a problem, but I was glad that it wasn't our marriage, and I was happy for the distraction. I know! But now our children may be victims. We had to move, but we had spent quite a bit of this move, and all we could was temporary stays in hotels and friends' houses. I thought they didn't have any friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
When the thought of staying in another person's house came into my mind, the anxiety made me sick to my stomach, and I just told my wife honestly that I could not hang with other people at the moment, and she knew how I felt. When she knew how I felt, I could feel a bond now that I hadn't felt in ages. Yes, I get. See, it's a self.
Okay, so we're realizing. Oh yeah, so we both realized we're both antisocial.
Yeah, and I was so glad to be with her. We went back to the house, and everything was split half and half. There has to be another way. Like, there needs to be more. Can we
spice it up a little more, find more creative ways because if these ghosts are constantly feuding about how to divide things, make the divisions different. Like, maybe all the plates are in one part, maybe just find different ways that they would divide it and then you could try and figure out what the ghosts are thinking. Like, I don't know.
Cut it down all the, like, basic words and then add details.
Details, please, we're starved for them. And we quickly took our kids to school and sorted everything out with our house when we got back. We both wondered which ghost was taking what, and my wife and I cooked a meal and just ate together at the family table, which we hadn't done in a long time. We talked about stuff, and we started to learn about each other and how much we had changed, especially when kids became involved. It was a great conversation, and who knew that talking could do a lot, and the outskirt talking seems like such a weak thing to do. What?
What's outskirt talking?
I don't know what outskirt talking. Oh, wait, a lot, and on the outskirt talking.
On the outskirts. Talking seems like such a weak thing to do. Okay.
Sure, okay.
The kids came back from school, and we all went to bed in the same room, and when we woke up, we found ourselves split between one half of the house and the other half of the house. When I say half, I mean literally half. Even our What?
Whoa, this
Our bodies? Wait, what? Oh my god, okay. I was missing the other half of my body, and the same with my wife, and holy shit!
Wow.
Okay. You're taking this with stride?
Yeah. Well, then again, the narration is so dry. It's like...
I was, and the same with my wife and kids. It was in the other part of the house as it had split open again during the middle of the night. It was nauseating as we could all see our insides and our organs. The way our children screamed, it was odd, and it felt like a scream, but it wasn't more and more like an echo. Then we all saw all of our other half of the bodies in the other half of the house, and it was all way too... How? How is this happening?
This is crazy.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Holy shit. We were all hopping on one leg, and I wanted... Holy shit. Okay, this has to be a horror comedy.
This is a horror comedy, absolutely.
Like, could you... hops on one leg.
This sucks!
I wanted this all to end and
perfect surgical, like...
Yeah. Honey, where's my other half? Hop, hop, hop. come to an end and come back together, and my wife and I decided to put each of our half together. So half of her body was attached to my half. What the?
What? Wow.
This is okay. So half her body attached to my half, and our kids did the same, and that way we would all have 2 legs and 2 arms to move.
So now they're they're like wedging the wife and the husband put their halves together.
Wait, but there's 3 kids, right?
No, there's 2 kids.
There's 2.
There's
okay.
only 2 kids. But like, what halves? Like, are you trying to attach your right side to your wife's right side because your left sides are all over there? Then if you're gonna do that to make the missing parts come together, then you're gonna have one of you's gonna have a backwards face, and like, oh my god. Okay.
What the fuck?
Oh, is it? Okay, let's...
Then as the oh wait, it's your turn.
Okay, we're close to the end. Then as the house was coming together again, we all separated and went back to our other half of our bodies, and we were all normal again.
Oh, okay.
We couldn't believe what had happened, and for the next couple of months, we stayed in hotels and with friends. Okay.
Didn't this already
About
happen?
friggin' time. No, they weren't going to do it originally. We borrowed money from parents, and we dreaded even more now from ever going back into the house. And when we were staying in some hotel one night, we all found ourselves back into that house, but half our stuff on one side of the house and the other half on the other side of the house. At least our bodies weren't split in half this time, and even our kids were used to it at this point. My wife and I looked at each other, and we felt so much shame for putting our kids through this. Yeah, duh. More importantly, we both felt selfish as we only moved for our selfish reasons and not our kids. And we did this to our kids, and none of this was their doing but ours. I don't think as parents we could ever redeem ourselves for doing this to them, as they never wanted to move, and we didn't care to listen to them and their needs and wants. Yeah! We got the same revelation 3 times in that same paragraph. Just keep it simple.
So no, we couldn't move away. Why? Why couldn't you?
Because even when they were away at the hotel, they woke up and they were back in the house.
Oh.
And they're part of the ghost's possessions.
Okay. Move away, and it was too late, and we should have moved when the psychic told us to, but our anxiety and dread made us stop doing that, as we weren't in the mood to see other people. When the house was split up again, and this time our legs were in the other half of oh my god, house, and our upper bodies are in the other half of the house. Oh my god. We were all calm, and we held each other's arms, and we started laughing our heads off when we saw our legs in the other half of the house, just wandering around, bumping into other legs. When my legs kicked my wife's legs, she felt that, and I said sorry. And when her legs kicked my legs, I also felt that. We both started laughing to ourselves. We were both glad in the moment that we were married to each other. What the fuck?
Okay, let's finish this.
Yeah.
Let's finish this. Then as our house came together, we found ourselves in the front room, and half our stuff was split up between rooms. Then our stuff started to disappear, and we knew that the divorcing ghosts had finally sorted out their divorce agreement and who gets what. Then when our kids disappeared, my wife and I started crying and wailing, and we both knew this was our fault. We could have goddamn gone to marriage counselor or even just talked it out, and none of this would have happened. This was our fault, and now we belong to either of the divorcing ghosts. Goodbye. Holy shit. I don't know what you want to do with this story. It's got a really
I was with you, and
interesting premise.
Yeah.
I'm glad it hit. The divorcing ghost thing is really funny, but I feel like this would work really well as a comedy with a dark ending. But you gotta rejigger this story a lot. A lot.
I know.
Lot.
I'm reading them. I'm like,
otherwise,
holy shit!
But I get the idea.
But the great part is how bonkers it gets.
It gets really bonkers.
And then our bodies were split in half. What? And they act like, okay, there it is.
Well, it's the voice. The narrator's voice is so dry. It's like you don't even. Nothing seems to faze this person, whoever they are.
We put our bodies together. Wait, what?
Oh my gosh!
What the fuck?
These characters. There's so much that needs to be fleshed out, but you're on a fun premise here. Divorcing ghosts, being a cheap form of marriage counseling on accident, but then having it end with you stayed too long, so you're being split in the divorce. That's pretty funny. So,
oh my god.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so, I do appreciate Rorschach sending this in, or should I say short story one? Let's be honest here. No,
it might not be.
I might not be, honestly, but it's a little it's just a little baffling, honestly. Mm-hmm. And Rorschach has sent us a few of these stories, and we haven't read them all yet, but I'll be curious to see where it goes from here. But I mean, this is our introduction to it. I'll be curious to see if the voice is any different. But honestly, there's merit here. Just give it a rewrite.
First of all,
cut so much of it out.
Yeah.
There's so much that is so redundant. We don't need these things repeated to us over and over and over again.
So cut off the self-actualization. Cut out, like, the parts where we're like, and I realized our marriage would come back together again. Take that out. If there's anything that sounds repetitive, take that out. And instead, add details. When I mean details, give a sentence that says, I wasn't happy with her. Then give examples. You did actually give a couple, but have more.
The examples come along later. Maybe have different things like if they're both antisocial, but you're not communicating, have that be something that gets showcased early instead of just telling us.
Yes.
Like, I know the show don't tell maxim is like kind of overwrought, but like there's situations where it does factor. So just think about it. Mm-hmm. That's all we're saying here. This actually could benefit from a lot more showing.
Yes.
Instead of just telling. Because as far as just tell a lot of the time right now. When you have the show bits that work, they actually do work. I think we're on the same page when we say we love the goofy nonsense of the split where they're being split in half.
Yes.
And the horror in that, but the way that they react to it.
I need more of a reactions, because
I need more weird, wacky nonsense about this divorce. Get some more, and you want to if you really want to lean into the horror of it, that's fine, but it almost seems like a premise that doesn't lend itself well to horror.
It works well
like serious horror when you got divorcing ghosts, because the way it reads is like a like a 1950s TV couple having one of these days, Alice, like they're having a couple's dispute and it's their divorce. Like, I don't know. No, I think it's works.
I'm with you too.
I think it works as a goofy, like a screwball story with a dark ending, but
this actually could be a horror comedy, which is that's a rare thing to happen.
Yeah.
Like, to be able to come. So the premise of this works as a horror comedy. You just need to if you want to go that route, you can rewrite it, but...
And I think we've said a lot about it at this point, and we don't want to be repetitive.
Yeah, I know, okay.
So, but yeah, those are our notes for you. Honestly, I do appreciate you sending it in to us. Thanks for giving us the chance to analyze it. And if you want to avoid getting split in half by divorcing ghosts, maybe consider sending us some of your writing, intrepid listeners, and send it to midnightmarinara@gmail.com. We will read most submissions that were sent here on the show. If you are a patron of ours, that's patreon.com/midnightmarinara. At any dollar level, we will do our best to prioritize your story, push it up to the front of the queue. We generally try to get to the stories in the order that we receive them. That being said, also, check out some of the other podcasts we have on the Creative Horror Network, such as our Midnight Marinara, The Witching Hour, Darkly Lit, The Jameson Tapes, Trick or Track. Right now, Darkly Lit and The Jameson Tapes are our active podcasts on the network. Especially check out The Jameson Tapes because Grendel.
Yeah, the Grendel.
The Grendel.
If you want to know what the Grendel is, or more about what at least Alan and Abysme's version of the Grendel is, go listen to The Jameson Tapes.
But thank you, as always, for joining us. This has been interesting.
Yeah.
A good way to come back to this.
I feel, after reading that, I feel so much better about our marriage.
I feel like loads better about our marriage. Now, it's going to take, like, a ghost to literally separate us. But then we're going to have to figure out the semantics of, like, how to put our bodies together.
Good evening, intrepid listeners. This is the Pasta Shade, the host of Midnight Marinara, and this podcast is part of CreativeHorror.com, a network of podcasts and creators working together to build a constructive community of horror fans. For more content like this, visit us at CreativeHorror.com.